Jim could not remember a January so hot as this Australian afternoon. His history book lazing over his lap, he sat by the reflecting pond, watching the ducks and swans glide slowly over the refreshingly cool water. The class discussion about misguided injustices, such as prosecuting a bullet instead of the gunman, baked lightly in Jim's head. The heat made him feel groggy, so Jim slumped just a bit, staring into the water's shadows and lights, its rippled distortions of line, its gentle capture of color into insistent movements, and lowered his head as do the swans, staring into the water, dipping further into its incomprehensible patterns. The verdict was reached at the most orange-red part of late afternoon. All the letters of the alphabet were shamed and severely sentenced, as were the host of digits and punctuation marks. The letters became so sad and ill that they could no longer hold their ink. The woman rubbed her eyes in disbelief. The writing on the page she was reading simply disappeared. The page was blank. She turned the next page and the next, then flipped wildly through the book, page after page after page after page. Nothing. Her husband downstairs on the computer watched as his Word document went blank. All throughout the town of Citta Perduta, the same was occurring. In every corner of the city, people were furiously packing their belongings, frightened by the vanishing alphabet. Giovanna, like so many other mothers, nervously gathered the family's essentials into bags and cases. People fled toward the docks to escape the unknown. With every boat departed, the city became more quiet than the deepest midnight. There came a family of Pied Pipers who would lead the unfavored populace from their dark corners into a city that was now theirs. As the new day awoke, the Pied Pipers played their flutes, leading the people into the city, blossoming in celebration. Right below the feet of the celebrating people, the mice travel another path, doing what mice do. They forage for scraps, and they do their nibbling with great stealth, caught rarely on the scene. They have a particular appetite for abstract delicacies, such as writing and numerical calculations. However, mice are rarely tempted by advertisement or graffiti. The people, unconcerned with the activities of the mice, develop schools of music where ancient techniques of imparting knowledge with song and poetry replace the written word. Turning the school buildings into giant instruments, the whole neighborhood hears the knowledge plucked from the 5-story high strings. With the town now stripped of most of its remaining alphabetic survivors, the mice carry off their booty to some unknown trove, while the people carry on their festivities. people who now inhabit the city and who were once homeless or disfavored continue to celebrate their good fortune of inheriting La Citta Perduta. But at what cost? What does it mean to lose writing? How ingrained a need is recorded language? Be it the alphabet for the sighted, sign language for the deaf, tactile language for the blind. Where did it go? Where do alphabets go if they feel neglected? No one knew. Yet, for centuries, the mice have been nibbling off their souvenirs and taking their voluminous collections to the safe harbor of the mountain. While humans no longer remember the magical cave inside the mountain, for the mice, it is their grand repository. Jim raised his head from his stupor, shaking it from the dreamy state. The university campus came into focus. He took a swig of water to refresh. How strange, when a hot summer day can make one fall into a book story. It was all fantasy, of course. Such things could never be, not in real life. He looked down to his book to close it, when a most curious thing lifted his attention.